air station in Atlantic City, obviously.
It's definitely one of the busiest air stations that's around in the Coast Guard. We cover from Connecticut down to Virginia for search and rescue, up to about 150 to 200 miles offshore. So we've got 12 helicopters, about 250 personnel, about 60 pilots, 180 enlisted personnel, and 10 civilian contractors. We operate the facility here in Atlantic City, as well as a facility down in the National Capital Region Air Defense Facility. We have a lot of search and rescue cases both in New York Harbor, along the Hudson, down in DC, along the Potomac. So it's congested airspace, it's challenging conditions with nor'easters and everything else. So there's a lot of variety there as far as what we see.
Recently I was a part of a difficult case, a nighttime case. There was 2 mariners aboard a sailboat. They hadn't done anything wrong. This wasn't that they got themselves in trouble. Their boat simply broke in bad weather conditions.
It wasn't forecast. None of this was forecast to be a third of the intensity that it was. The waves were going over the boat entirely. At one point we got hit with such a big one, it actually tossed me and I felt the steering snap at that point.
It's like inside the cabin of the boat getting like tossed back and forth because we have absolutely no steering.
Oh, yeah.
And in this time, he calls the Coast Guard.
U.S. Coast Guard, do you read me?
The initial call that we got is that there was a vessel that was aground and being pounded by the surf, and these people were in immediate distress.
Each wave, you would feel the boat get like lifted slightly and then just hit again and again. And at this point, we call the Coast Guard again and we're like, we're not moving.
My position is 39.
As I made my way to the command center, the last word I got was that they were possibly going to abandon ship. And with the weather conditions as they were, it was essentially a nor'easter or like a wintertime tropical storm is what it felt like. That really increased the urgency for us to get out. We were airborne in 18 minutes.
Yeah, they were definitely fast and I'm thankful for it.
When we arrived on scene to where we believed they were, it was very difficult to see anything. Thankfully, we had communications with them on the radio. They explained that their situation was dire, and we were able to quickly expedite our operations and deliver the rescue swimmer.
My cousin saw a video of us being airlifted and she's like, oh my God, isn't that scary? And I'm like, actually, that's the least scary part because the Coast Guard has gotten there and you know that you're safe in that moment.
It's a really humbling feeling to be rescuing somebody from those bad conditions, to get them back. And nothing feels better than when you get the high five or the handshake or sometimes a hug saying, you know, thank you, I don't know if I'd be here without you.
The Rotary Wing Air Intercept mission came to be after 9/11 when the government realized they needed to have a more protective bubble around the airspace here around DC. The National Capital Region Air Defense Facility, where we are here, is a satellite unit of the air station in Atlantic City. So we technically work for them, even though here we work primarily for the Department of Defense. For all of the low, slow-flying aircraft, such as a small Cessna single-engine type airframes, when they come into the restricted airspace around DC, our mission is to go out and identify them and try to convey any of the activities that they're doing for the decision makers to then decide how they're going to handle that target.
We're there to let them know that they're in an area they're not supposed to be and to get them out, you know, to hopefully save them and save others that are around in the area.
Anytime there's a presidential movement, any sort of national special security events, you know, for example, a United Nations or a G8 summit, those sorts of things.
Could be anywhere from the West Coast, you know, Puerto Rico, here in Delaware, the President's home state, Camp David, etc. So it really can be a lot of different locations that we're tasked with last minute getting there to ensure airspace security.
Our entire mission is to try to ID someone before something bad happens, yes.
I've been impressed ever since I've gotten here. The things that we challenge our pilots with day in and day out, I would put up against any of the other pilots throughout the Coast Guard. It's just, you know, like I said, tremendously busy, congested airspace, challenging search and rescue cases, and then throwing on the Presidential Protection Mission with the RWI as well as DC, I think really just puts the icing on the cake for them.